Welcome to another autumnal reading video. One of my goals for this week, walk in the park and take in the fall colors of the leaves. I have this irrational fear that I'm just gonna miss it, that they're gonna be brown on the ground and the trees are gonna be bare before I can do that, which I know is silly, but it just feels like it happens so quickly and I just want to be able to take that in. So we've had some days with some beautiful medium blue sky. You have like the whole color spectrum in front of you as you're driving down the city streets. So that's my plans for today. I might take you along with me and vlog some of that and then talk to you about the books that I've been reading lately and the ones that I plan to get to before the end of October. After last week's video, I'm sure you can guess that I've been reading quite a few books set in libraries. I'm really happy with how last week's video turned out and all of the books that I got to read that were set in libraries. Make sure you check it out if you haven't watched it yet. We're well overdue for a reading update of some of the other books that I've been reading lately and the books that I'm planning to pick up next. A book that I just finished and I think is perfect to read in October is Other Birds by Sarah Addison Allen. In this story, we're following a collection of characters that are united in their living space. So they all live in a condominium called the Delawisp, and it's named after these tiny blue birds that fly around and pester the residents, steal some of their small items. Each character in that story gets a chance to share from its own perspective, and that includes not only the living tenants of the condominium, but also its ghosts. So you get a glimpse into the present circumstances as well as the history and what has bound each of these people together. Fraser says, "There are birds and then there are other birds. Maybe they don't sing, maybe they don't fly, maybe they don't fit in. I don't know about you, but I'd much rather be an other bird than just the same old thing." So in this community of misfits who have found one another, we find a chef who is waking up every morning covered in cornmeal. There's a young woman haunted by her past, and the newest tenant, Zoe, has just moved into her mother's old apartment, and she's trying to discover as much as she can about the other people that she lives with before she has to head off to college for the first time. Care for yourself in advance and do read the trigger warnings on this one before you pick it up. If you're in the mood for a ghost story where the ghosts are more past relationships or symbols of the connections or unresolved things in the past, I would say that this is a really good fit for that. Fits the category of magical realism. It's not super fantastical, but there's a lot of mysterious things happening. I really liked the feeling of being pulled into this story and all of the revelations coming together in the end, but it just felt so short. So I gave it 4 stars. My only sadness with it is that it feels too short. A couple other books that I recently read that I do not currently have in hand because they were library copies. One of those is The Dead Romantics. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. Again, we have the theme of ghosts. At the center of the story, we have a family who runs a funeral home, and the eldest daughter is a ghostwriter for a famous novelist, and she is on the hook for her final novel, and she is called home at the news that her father has passed. Her family runs a funeral home, and this is the place where she was raised, and she has a lot of memories there, and The death of her father is just very sudden, and so she's grappling with the grief. But we also have a kind of unexpected romance that forms, some mysterious things happening. So overall, I would say this was fun. I enjoyed the writing. It's not something that I feel is going to stick with me for a long time. I would probably give this one 3.5 stars. Another book that I finished is Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells, and this is the last book. Now I'm waiting till November for the next installment in the Murderbot Diaries series. I can't wait. I feel kind of weird ranking each of these individually. I would say this one was probably 3.5 stars. I liked the book before this one a little bit better. It's really hard to distinguish them each in my mind because they are kind of episodic and they stack together, so. I've also been continuing my time in the Edinburgh Nights series by T.L. Huchu. This is book 2, Our Lady of Mysterious Ailments, and it is the name of the local hospital. In this book, I've been following Ropa as she seeks to solve the case of a strange medical condition that has been turning up victims to the local hospital where her friend Priya works. And so she's investigating that, and she's also trying to fit within the society that have accepted her and spend enough time with her grandmother and her little sister. There's just a lot of different threads activated, I feel, in this second book that weren't necessarily present in the first book because we were still discovering the world. We were still becoming acquainted to the characters, and so I feel like there's a lot more riding on this second book, which tends to be the case in the middle of series. So I'm looking forward to see how this one wraps up. I have no idea where we're going to land. It doesn't seem like we're being given enough clues to put things together ourselves. And then I think there's just one book remaining after this one. I'm not even certain if that's the conclusion of the series or just the next volume, so I'll have to see. I've kind of hit pause on Shadow of the Wind, but I'm going to continue reading it through this month. I'm just taking my time with it and reading other more recent books as I read through this one. What's up next on my reading list? It's probably going to be a toss-up between The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young and Alebrijes by Donna Barba Higuera. So I just picked up this copy from the bookstore last week, and I am really excited to get into it. The cover art is by David Alebrijes, and we have this lovely cutout with the illustration behind it. So cool. You really don't see a lot of die-cut covers like this these days. The cover design itself, that cutout and everything, is David Alebrijes and Patrick Collins. So this is the Levine Querido edition, and I believe that they also were responsible for publishing The Last Quintista. So very nice book design. Always a good sign if you have a map on the inside, and then this lovely illustration and the introduction that says that this was told to another character. We're set in a city that is in the middle of a desert wasteland. It's kind of a dystopian society where there are a wealthy upper class and then there are the poor working class who for generations have been trapped at that labor level. So we have a brother and sister, Gabby and Leandro. Gabby is caught stealing fruit from a wealthy family, and Leandro steps in to receive her punishment, which is banishment from the city. And he's not just banished to the wasteland, but he's also put into this kind of like an animal statue. That's what an Alebrijes is like a spirit animal. So I will be looking forward to getting into this one. I think it's going to be kind of a little dark and spooky, but also love between siblings. I think she writes really well, so I'm excited to read this one. I have not read the synopsis of this one. I just picked this up because I read Spells for Forgetting in September and I really enjoyed it. Maybe you can vote in the comments on which one you think I should read next. The other books that I hope to read before October is gone are Babel by R.F. Kuang, Autumn by Ali Smith, A Movable Feast by Ernest Hemingway, and The Matchship by Robin Hobb. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I think I'm starting to get a little tired of ghost stories, so I'm not sure how that's going to steer my mood reading for the rest of the month. I think at least or 5 books that I read recently were kind of centered around ghosts. I still have a few new releases that are on hold at the library that also seem to have that theme. Honestly, looking to the books that are a little bit less Halloween-ish for the next few weeks, which is kind of weird. Like, I got my spooky season reads done early. I feel like there's enough of a mix in the books that are on my next up that I'm not going to get tired of it, but I am kind of glad to be moving on from the ghost stories, to be honest with you. So those are all the books that I've read recently and the ones that I'm planning to pick up next. I hope you enjoyed coming with me on this fun fall day, and I'd love to know how your fall reading is going. Please drop a comment and let me know. And if you don't really have anything to say, no reading updates you'd like to share, go ahead and use the wind emoji. Thanks for joining me. I will see you in another video soon.